Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. It's book haul time here today. I've not done one of these for a couple of months, but I have of course still been receiving books during that time. So let's go and have a look at what I'm currently struggling to fit on my shelves. So of course part of the reason I've been receiving books lately is because Christmas has just been and gone. So I've got a stack of books down the side of me. I'll kind of split them into two sections. One is primarily from the author and then the other is gifts, and within that I've got quite a few Christmas presents that I'd like to show off as well. So I'm just going to start by going straight through and into the gifts. Both of these stacks I'll go in no particular order, just literally as they are stacked on the floor next to me. So first of all, I got a bunch of books from my wife and my daughter for Christmas, and it's 5 books which cover 2 series. So first of all, I've got, if I do these in the right order, book 2 of the Greatcoats, Night's Shadow. Along with that, we've got books 3, Saint's Blood, and 4, Tyrant's Throne. I love this series. You might have seen that it's one of my top series of all time because I had such a great time with it. I've already got Traitor's Blade, which is on the shelf somewhere. It's way up here so you can't see it, but I really like this series and I'm glad to have physical copies of all 4 books on the shelves now. Or not on the shelves, but at some point they will be on the shelves. The next series completed I've got, and these ones I haven't read yet, but I've got books 2, No Place for Peace, and 3, Where Heroes Were Born, of Pillars of Peace by Tom Dumbrell. So I've already got book 1 on the shelf behind me, about there, which is The Luck of the King. I've really enjoyed that one. It was a nice kind of change of pace, really, a little bit different to a lot of the real epic fantasies that I've been reading. So it definitely gives me something new, but I'm looking forward to reading these 2 because continuing this series and hopefully finishing it is one of the goals that I've set myself for 2023. So then I've got some Christmas presents that I received. I think these are all Christmas actually. I received all of these quite recently. And the first one of those is from one of my friends and patrons, Tufty McTavish, who got me Along the Razor's Edge by Rob J. Hayes. This is book 1 of the War Eternal. I really enjoyed this. I read this on audio. And I've been enjoying the rest of the series as well, which is again one of the series that I'm looking to finish up this year. I love these hardback editions. They are really nice and they've got the naked design on the boards as well. They are really good quality and I'm pleased to have this one in my collection. Thank you very much, Tufty, for this one. Then one I got from my book bestie Nina is one that we've been looking to buddy read for a little while now. This is Wolf Eater by Anthony Mitchell. I've heard such good things about this one, especially from author L.L. McRae, who keeps singing its praises. I'm going to listen to this one early on. I think we might have it scheduled for February, but I'll double check that. But it's another one that's in my plan for 2023, so it's nice to have a physical copy of this so I can do a bit of immersion reading, but also I've got this lovely copy on my shelf now. So thank you, Nina, for that one. That was nice and easy to tell because it had a note in the box saying who it was from. This next one did not, and it took me a little while to find out who it's from, but eventually I did find out. It's from Cassidy, so thank you very much for Rise of the Mages by Scott Drakeford. This is one that's been on my wish list for a little while. Pretty much since it came out, I just heard some good things about it. It sounded good, and I'm looking forward to this one. It's kind of a little bit strange if I get Along the Razor's Edge up again. It's a bit of a strange size. I had this with Legends and Lattes, so I think that was a Tor title as well, and I think it shows that they've gone into some different sizes. Either that or I just don't have many Tor hardbacks on my shelves anymore, and that's just their standard size. But it's a little bit bigger than the old book club edition that I've got some of, but smaller than basically all of my other hardbacks, so a little bit weird, but it's nice and compact. It feels quite nice in the hand, so looking forward to reading this one. Thank you very much, Cassidy, for that one. The next one that I've got, kind of wrapping up the gifts from friends. This is from a Secret Santa that we do each year on the Wizardly Duo Discord, and my Secret Santa was Connie, and she got me from my wish list The Blood of Crows by Alex C. Pearce. And this one's got a really nice cover. I like the colours that we've got on here. It's a really nice combination. But I've heard really good things about this as well. It's a bit of a heist involved here, and I do like a nice fantasy heist. I've got the audio of this as well now, so that's another one that I'm going to be looking at doing a bit of reading maybe and a bit of listening sometime soon. So thanks very much, Connie, for that one, and for everyone else who has bought me presents this year for Christmas. On to books that I've received from publishers and primarily authors, and to be fair, a lot of these fall into the same category where, even if they're not for Christmas, they are gifts from people I consider to be my friends within the community. So the first of these though is direct from a publisher, but this was arranged through the kind of publicist company Black Crow, and I received a copy of Children of Memory by Adrian Tchaikovsky. This is book 3 in the Children of Time series. I had already read this by the time this arrived, so it was a little bit late coming through to me, but it did mean that I've got a nice hardback copy on my shelf of this one. I really enjoyed the Children of Time series, but it did, if I'm being truthful, go a little bit downhill with book 2 and especially this one, book 3. So it's a very sad thing because I got a copy on my shelf a couple of days, I think it might have been, after finishing it and being a little bit disappointed with it. But never mind, I've got this one to add to my growing sci-fi collection. And then a book that I received from an author after being in contact for one of my indie author showcases. I received Bones to the Wind by Tatiana Obi, and this is another one that's got that lovely naked hardback, a very shiny one on both the dust jacket and the hardback on here. But I've heard some really good things about this one. It's maybe not my normal style, but it does sound like a very interesting story, so I'm looking forward to reading this one. If I can get the dust jacket back on. There we go. Next up is another one that I've heard a lot of good things about, and I've been seeing recently since this cover was announced, really. This is The Crew by Sadir S. Samir, and this was sent to me as a thank you really for all that I do with highlighting indie within the community. Nice little pair of bookmarks there. The other one is on the shelf with my bookmark collection. Nice naked boards with the foiling there of the two blades, so I do like that one. But this one I'm not sure when I'm going to get to, but I am looking forward to finding out a bit more about it. I'm hearing more because it has now been released and people are reading it. I'm starting to hear more things about it, and that just helps build the excitement for it. The next two I've got are actually giveaway prizes. So I entered a giveaway to win a copy of Starbinder by Mark Timoney. This was through Escapist Book Tours, and I got the first prize, which was a hardback copy of it, and it's nice signed copy or book plate copy through the broken binding. This is another one that's got a design on the naked boards there. This actually arrived just a day or two after I finished The Blood of the Spear by the author, and I really enjoyed it, so I'm looking forward to getting into this one and finding a little bit more about it. And then the other giveaway that I won was direct through the author. This was from Luke Schultz, and he sent me a copy of his book A King's Radiance as my prize. So this one, yet again, I've heard some really good things about this one, and I'm looking forward to getting into it. It's quite a chunky book, so it's one that I don't know when I'm going to get to, but it'll keep me going for a little while when I do get to it. Another couple of authors next who featured in my indie author showcase. The first of those is PJ Nwosu, who sent me a copy of her book Dream of Death City. My friend Esme read this and really loved it, so I was very interested to find out more about it, especially after hearing the author talk about it in her own words. So I'm happy to have this copy on my shelf to get to at some point, hopefully this year. And then we have the collector's offer, Making of Elements by Joseph Delichny, and this is one that I've not really heard too much about. It's one that's flown a bit more under the radar than most of the books that I've got here. I think that's a pretty cool cover though. It's very atmospheric, and I'm looking forward to digging into this one and finding out what it's all about. Next up is a bit of a strange one, quite frankly, in the way that it looks. Well, this is an author who I've spoken to a few times on Discord, and I've got a couple of his sci-fi books, but now he's sent me a copy of his fantasy. This is from Wilbur Seymour, and this title is Young Witch. Now, it's a little bit strange, I say, because it's a very, in his own words, minimalistic cover. That's the design that he was going for, which is highlighted by the fact that there's no synopsis on the back. So I do know what this is about, so I got a little slip with the synopsis, and obviously I can get that from Amazon, Goodreads or wherever as well. But it's a very short book, so hopefully I will be able to get to this one and get it read before too long. And then one that, again, I've heard some people reading and absolutely raving about, especially Leslie from the Nerdy Narrative. I've got The Awakening Fire by Cassidy Feline, and again, this is one with a really cool cover, if you can see it without all the light reflecting off it. It's a really atmospheric one. It's maybe a touch towards the YA or the new adult, from what I understand, but it does sound pretty good, and I'm looking forward to trying this one out. A couple that I have read or I'm currently reading in the case of the next one, this is Eclipse, a sci-fi from Herman Stoenagel. You can see there that I am about halfway through reading this one at the moment. I'm definitely enjoying it. It's got some nice twists and turns, and I'm really excited to get towards the end of this to find out how it all goes. But it looks really cool. I love the colours on the cover there. It's a kind of standard sci-fi space opera cover with the ship there in space, but I love the colour combinations that we've got here. But yeah, definitely excited to finish this one because I am having a good time with it. This is an arc. It comes out, I think it's February the 7th, so look out for this one in the coming weeks. And then one that I have read kind of, this one's a very special copy actually for my collection. This is Heliotrope by Palmer Pickering, and the reason that it's special is because this is the first book in my collection that I've actually worked on. So if you don't know, I quit my job 18 months or so ago because I had retrained myself, and I am now a full-time work from home self-employed proofreader, and this is one of the titles that I've worked on. Normally the books that I've been proofreading aren't really to my tastes, and so I won't have a copy, but this one I'm really happy to have in my collection. It's a real beast of a book, a real chonker. It's about 700 or 800 pages. Let me just double check that. Yeah, so 770 odd pages, and I had a good time proofreading this because it's nice to be able to, as you're working, to enjoy the story that you're actually taking in. So it's a very different reading experience because you're not reading for pleasure. You've got to turn on certain parts of your brain that I would normally turn off when I'm reading for fun. So definitely enjoyed my time with it, but it's really nice to have this one in my collection as one that I've worked on. And then the last of the new books that I've got literally arrived yesterday, so just in time for this one. This is another review copy that I'm going to be reading in January because it comes out on the 28th, and it's Age of All Sin by Daniel T. Jackson. This is book 2 in the Illborn saga. Now, Illborn was one of my favourite books of 2021, and I'm really looking forward to getting back into this one. I've got kind of an unintentional limited edition here because it is supposed to be gloss, but you can see on there it's actually a matte copy for a printing error, so I actually prefer that because it's really nice for showing on camera without all of the light glowing off it. But I'm really looking forward to getting back into this world and seeing where our characters go and what happens, and I'll be picking it up as one of my next reads. So thank you so much to all of the authors and publishers and just friends I've made in the community who sent me books. I really appreciate them, as does I think everybody. I really love receiving new books and opening them up and being surprised and excited about what's inside. So I'm looking forward to reading a number of these because there's quite a few that I've not read as yet, and I'll be making my way through them as I get through this year. You may have seen in my January TBR or MBR video that I do now have myself a little TBR jar, so every time I receive a new book that I haven't read, I'll write it down on a slip of paper, fold it up and put it in the jar. So there's an extra chance really for me to get to a book earlier because I'll be picking out at least once a month a book from that jar to add to my reading list for the upcoming month. So plenty for me to look forward to in terms of reading some of these, although I'm not looking forward to, as I said, trying to fit them on these shelves around me because they are already full to overflowing. That's it for me today though. Let me know in the comments down below if you received any new books recently for Christmas or otherwise. Take a look at the social media and support the channel links in the box below this video if you want to come and hang out on Discord or on my Patreon, or if you want to interact with me on Instagram or Twitter whilst it's still around, you can do that as well. I hope you have a great reading year ahead of you in 2023. I'll see you in the next video sometime soon, but until then, as always, take care of yourselves, read some good books. Bye for now.